Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to the show on this lovely Thursday morning. What a beautiful day today. The sun is actually out, which is fantastic. It means like spring is kind of here, I think. I think it's here. I think winter's over with. It's a beautiful day. I can't wait to get outside. I'm looking forward to a good run today through the forest. It just looks excellent. I'm so over this dark, cold, wet weather. It's just been too long now. It's been too long. This is the worst drought ever. Okay. Anyways, as usual, all I do today is open up my Twitter, go to my For You tab, and I'll scroll through and I'll just react as I see it. Yeah, there's not really too much extra to it at all. Let's just see what's going on today. It's always a shit show, and I imagine today is going to be no different. Okay, let's go home and just going to reload new tweets. Okay. First off the bat, Sky News. Okay. Victoria Police raided a house in a rural village in the state's central west where they found 10 greenhouses. Okay. Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, okay. The new epidemic is booster junkies from Nick Holt. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of boosters. Any of you had boosters? I haven't. I had one shot. I had one J&J, and that was all. I didn't have a good experience with it, and it was not pleasant, and it didn't really put the getting reoccurring shots in a good light for me. So no boosters, thank you very much. Plus, I don't see many people, so I'm out in the forest. I got cats. That's all. I don't need it. I'm young. I'm fit. I can deal with it. Rachel Withers. Wow. Okay, we're getting off to a great start here today, people. We know it's going to be a fine one when Rachel Withers tops the list today. Okay, so this is 17 hours ago. Can't believe Paul Keating told us we should be ashamed of ourselves and that we are a newspaper without integrity, while ABC's Media Watch called our series alarming and questioned whether we discuss the issues responsibly. These very persuasive attacks go too far. Okay. Yeah. I had to listen to Paul Keating's. This actually goes to Gordy. Gordy, if you're watching this at the moment, this goes to you. I know you're a bit of a Keating fan, and he has his place, he has his position. But overall, I watched Keating's talk yesterday at the MPC Club. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so two things. Like, Keating can be right and wrong at the same time. He's right in the way that Keating is right, about the 90s and the way things were when he was last in power. And I think what has happened is that the world has moved on without him. He does have a right to talk about things, but as the poor girl from Sky News that he berated, she actually had a good question. And he said he wrote it off as being a terrible question. It was a bad question. Oh, it's a stupid question, blah, blah. But he hasn't had a briefing. He doesn't have the defense briefings. He doesn't have the internal briefings. All he has is the memory and his experiences from the 90s. That's it. The rest that he came up with, and he said in response to that, oh, because I have a brain, because I can read. That's basically the same. Remember how everyone said, everyone attacked anti-vaxxers and people who are vaccine hesitant because they did their own research. Remember? Remember how it's bad doing your own research on that, but it's perfectly fine for Paul Keating to come out and have his whole foreign policy based on what he's read. I imagine what Paul Keating's reading list is like, and it's probably not that good. But anyways, regardless of that, he did make some good points. He did make some good points, but his picture isn't fully complete. I don't think it is, and I don't think he wants it to be fully complete because he's comfortable operating in that realm. He's comfortable operating in that sector. He doesn't, that 90s mindset, the old defense policy that we had. The only example he had, or the belief that the only use purpose for these subs was to sit off the shelf of China and try to stop their second response. I don't think that's possibly one use, but they are very multi-mission and the posture of the Australian Defence Force is no longer sitting back and letting Indonesia take the brunt of any invasion. We're not operating on that premise anymore. Australia's not operating on that anymore, where we've moved on, and technology has moved on too. So he was right in some respects, and I don't think he's complete. I just don't think his. It's very typical of a Labor leader. You know, if a Labor leader, they're fine. They're fine until you question them. And this is a thing that happens in their party. It's their mindset. They're not used to debate. They're not used to opposing opinions. So you'll see this with Albo. If Albo's given a tough question, he will instantly turn hostile. Instantly. He doesn't try to manage the question. He doesn't try to manage the argument. He just turns hostile. Dan Andrews does the same. You'll see Bill Shorten do the same. Kevin Rudd. Did Kevin Rudd do the same? Of course he did. He swings off. They swing off. This is what they... Mark Latham. They swing off. That's the only way they know. They can't deal with alternative opinions without slandering and attacking people. That's just a Labor thing. So if Paul Keating's slandering off, like, it's usually just to hide his lack of gravitas or his lack of understanding of an issue. And he's been caught out on that, right? Especially asking about the Uyghurs in China. You know, it's fairly evident that especially the last 10 years, the human rights abuses done by China, and also just their trade abuses and just their general shittiness. This isn't a war that's building in the traditional sense of a war that we would have believed in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, that Paul Keating would have come through and managed. It's fourth and fifth dimensional warfare now. So it's not going to pan out the way that Keating was once told. And he does have a axe to grind with the spending and things like that, you know, and the allocation. But yeah. Can we just like keep it in perspective that this man's not he doesn't represent the wider. He does represent Labor's base. That's another thing we could go into. The expectations of Labor's base. There is Gordy, if you're watching. There are people like Gordy who are the traditional Labor base. I can respect those people. I can respect them. But what they haven't understood is that in their blind hatred and rage against anyone on the right, they haven't noticed the insanity percolating through their own ranks. As I said, I'm not new to this, saying, what is the point of Penny Wong? What is the point of Penny Wong? I don't know, but she's destroying your party. You know, I can respect the older Labor people. You know, they had solid credentials. You know, they stood for things. You know, they have politics. I still respect them. That's why I respect you, Gordy. But yeah, you've let the party go, and look what it is now. It's all single mums, public servants, and you know, any other little grievance that you could tag on to the end of it. It's not working class people, which is what Paul Keating still thinks it is, but it's not. I'm afraid not, sir. It's not. It's gone. Anyways, back to Keating. You know, he did make some good points. The journalist, though, you know, he just flies off and attacks journalists when, instead of answering the questions, there's a good way to answer the questions, and then there's just like outright cuntery. You know, there's just outright just being a cunt because you feel intimidated or threatened by a question that you don't think you can deal with. That's all. He's an old man. You know, don't give him so much credence. Like, it's a new world and he's an old man. You know, any other time, a lot of these, Rachel Withers would say, oh, that stupid old white man stuck in the past. You know, what? What's Paul Keating? Really? Okay, anyways, Paul's a little bit off the rails, but I don't know. Let the tards fight. Like, let Labor fight this out amongst themselves. People like Gordy have to really push themselves to the top and say, no, hang on, this is our base. We're not getting sidetracked here. Like, be Labor. This is what happened to the Liberals too. The Liberals aren't Liberal anymore. I know your pain, man. I know your pain. You know, get them back on track. The world's better for it. Anyways, let's continue. That's hopefully that's enough of Paul. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, people. Hopefully. Okay, let's see. Oh, that looks like a nice sandwich. But yeah, once again, take the bread off. I'll take the bacon. Oh, that looks good. The bacon, tomato, and lettuce. That would be great. That would be a good salad, you know, and some mayo. But yeah, you don't need, what does Daddy Warpig say? Yeah, you need some cheese on that. Yeah, exactly. You got to get the cheese in there. Yep. I'm 100% on board. Okay, Leo back in for the hot take. Paul Keating is famous for never ever making strong personal statements against people. Yeah, exactly. He just does personal attacks, and there's some weird like little thing within the left that personal attacks make up for an argument or something, or it's a zinger. Zinger. Like, what the fuck? How did the zingers go for Bill Shorten in the election? Sorry, people, I've still got a cold, but it's going. I'm getting better, and the sun's out, so we're going to be going hard. Anyways, Richard Dennis, wow. Fuck me. We're off to a good start today. So what's Richard Dennis got today? Just as the Irish were exporting food during their famine, Australians are being told in advance that we'll continue to be the world's largest exporter of LNG, even if Australian power plants experience a shortage. Pathetic. Yeah, we need... What do you want, Dennis? Do you want gas or not? You have an option here. We can make money off gas. We can sell gas. He seems to be saying we don't need gas, but I can't believe that we need gas. Or we don't need gas, but I can't believe that they don't have enough gas. Like, what? Just Richard's like, oh my god, that's half the problem with the Labor Party. Like, if you're still watching Gordy and you haven't rage quit, that's half the problem. Is that these people are apparently thought leaders. Richard Dennis is like the dumbest potato you could ever get. Like, Peter Dutton looks like a potato. Richard Dennis is a potato. That's like mashed potato, man. Like, that's just, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And they push this bullshit through. Like, and then, the little lemmings will jump onto it, and then the NPCs start repeating the same thing as if it's truth. And it's not. It's just embarrassing, man. It's just really embarrassing. Anyways, Richard Dennis, you're a laugh. Okay. Not as good as Greg. Hopefully Greg pops up. Gray. Okay, I just gotta send Gray. Gray, unblock me, you cunt. Gray, you still have me muted for fucking swearing. Anyways, Gray, best of luck with things, but let's see what he says. If ever there was a guy whose time had come to say fair is fair, who had to pay the rent and pay his share, it's this guy. Yeah, Peter Garrett. Like, fuck off, Peter. Come on, Peter. Why, yeah, once again, why is Peter Garrett in the Labor Party? Why is he a voice like the people listen to? I don't get it. Penny Wong's useless, yes, understand. Paul Keating's right on that. What he's won. What's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of Chris Bowen? Anyways, Peter Garrett's just as useless. Peter Garrett, like, really, no one has done more to harm the prospect of nuclear energy, which is clean, effective, safe, reliable energy, than Peter Garrett. We don't need these people around. Once again, they're great for the 80s and 90s. Peter Garrett dancing around in the 80s could have got something done, but now, no. It's not worth it. Why do we keep harking on about these old arguments and these old opinions as if like nothing's changed? The world has changed and it has moved on. Okay, Albo, fuck, Albo's PR team, come on. This doesn't look too bad. Okay, I'm just doing an analysis here on the photo. Okay, I'm not doing anything else. Okay, so the photos, it's hard to tell, but it looks like f4. Okay, so they're using a 24 to 70 lens, I would say here. 24 to 70, or this is a 50 mil, but it's shot at f4. The plants are coming away at the back. It looks like some nice, yeah, see, they've got no fringing on the lines of his shoulders here. It's not too bad. Once again, they're shooting from lower. They're shooting up to make him look taller because he's a fucking short cunt. So they're shooting up to make him look taller, but all that does is it makes women look fatter. Not a good thing. So they had a choice. Make Albo look taller, make the woman look fatter. They went with that. That's how they went. Yeah. Anyways, let's get out of there. It's a nice photo. They're doing a bit better, but yeah, they could still do some work on this. Anyways, what's he saying? Taking pressure off family budgets is our priority. Yeah, but it's not. And you might say that, but so far electricity prices just keep going up. You can't. Nothing's getting cheaper. I haven't seen any story of anyone saying or posting anywhere saying, oh my God, things are getting so cheaper. I love this new government. No one's saying that. No one. No matter how many times you say, we're taking pressure off family budget, it's not. It's not happening, dude. Okay, so Daniel, what's he saying? A warehouse worker from Blacktown has not decided who will get his vote. I just feel like I'll probably vote for someone that would be more environmentally aware and like someone that wants to change for the future as well. Racism is the biggest issue for his friend, 18-year-old law student. Oh fuck no. How is racism the biggest issue in Australia? It was never an issue before. When I grew up, racism, sure, it might have been around, but it was never like front page stories. Like, that's how they keep you distracted. You know, it's these little fringe issues, identity politics. That's what's infected Labor. So there's no solid, straight policy line at all, except identity politics, playing up for the grievance. You know, it's sad. It's just such basic bitch politics. There's no big ideas. It's just fucking identity. And it keeps you distracted from the actual big policy issues. Okay, Paul Keating claimed today French offered Australia a new deal of Barracuda nuclear powered submarines with 5% blah, 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 blah. Firm delivery date, blah, 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 fixed price. Where's the media on this? Yeah, the French. Okay, so once again, there's a new world now. The last 10 years have changed things dramatically. There's a different strategic pose, and Australia's expected. Paul Keating said this rightly. You know, Australia's holding the fence together. They're holding the chain, the link together. That's what they're doing. They're pulling it in. Yes, they are. Yes, it's a Southeast Asian policy where our defense posture has changed and Australia needs to step up. That's all. Keating also mentioned that the only one at the table was Albo. Our guy at the table was the only one paying. He was the only one paying. Yes, the others do pay as well. Who do you think built these subs? Who do you think invested in the R&D to build these subs? They've paid. It's up to Australia now to pull its weight and to join the strategic group. We need to do this. We need to do this. These subs will secure trade lines. And yeah, China is a big trading partner, but at any moment that could change. At any moment. And then what? You know, we're going to still need, we're going to have extended trading lines. Our supply lines will be extended, so we're going to need to protect them. It's not about protecting the supply lines to China. How basic bitch can you get? Like, really? Anyways, the strategic posture's changed. The French are not in our strategic realm anymore. We've got to stick together with the Anglo countries. That's it. We're not playing in this global little fantasy utopia world of the UN anymore. We're not playing in this. This isn't a world in which I live probably 400 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border. When there's a war going on there, I see tanks coming past on trucks. We're in trouble at the moment. There's energy shortages here. The food prices have gone through the roof. This isn't the 90s anymore. This isn't going away. The strategic posture has changed, and at the moment, the rebalancing is Russia and China. They're posing bigger threats, and we need to step up to the mark. The French, unfortunately, they do not fall within our realm. They are not going to be there to help us. They do not fall within our closest group. We have to stick together. That's all. We've only got ourselves. Apart from us, there's just a basket case of other countries behind us, you know? We've got to take this mantle. That's it. Otherwise, Western civilization itself is going to collapse. It's going to collapse, you know? And that's going to be a bad, bad day if that happens. So the subs are more, it's more than just the technical aspect of the subs. That's all. But, you know, it's a new world. That's all. Keating stuck in the 90s. A lot of these other people are stuck in, I don't know, basic bitch land where we're getting Richard Dennis to fill out our fucking policy prescriptions. Jesus. Anyways, let's move on. Other than Dan Andrews, is there anyone else who is sick in the head at the moment? Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold. sorry, meanwhile in Melbourne. Jonathan Segal. Labor would rather people have starved than use their own money. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, super. I'd love to talk to Cameron Murray one day, but yeah, scrap super. Scrap super. It's a bad idea. Once again, it's Keating's brainchild. Scrap it. We don't need to have that debate. Let's get rid of it. Or just make it non-compulsory, you know, like all the best ideas must be compulsory. That's a bad idea to think. Anyways, another day, another inflated ego attention seeker. Yeah, can we just get girls out of the gym? Get them back in the kitchen? No. Yeah, I don't like these girls filming themselves at the gym. Why do you need your mobile phone at the gym? Can you just put it in the locker or something like that? This is, yeah, yeah. I like being in the forest where there's no one but foxes and deer and things like that. Yeah, I'll film out there. Anyways, oh, Philip Adams. Oh my God, here we go. This is the heart. This is the brains trust of the ABC audience. With characteristic understatement today, the Sydney Morning Herald editorial compares Paul Keating to Donald Trump. For fuck's sake, he is. He's got this bombastic, type of character. He's just very, Trump attacks people who question him as well. He just attacks them personally, and that's all Paul Keating does. It's old thinking. It's not the future. It's just old ways. Philip's still stuck in those old ways. Him and Philip. If Peter Garrett had a concert and it was going to be nothing but Peter Garrett playing like Aboriginal sticks, Philip Adams would buy all the front row. He'd be there with Pasco, and they'd be getting into it. Alex Stupp. I like Alex Stupp. He's doing a lot of work. I think he works at Progress Institute, founder of the IFP. Yeah, it's the Progress Institute. But he's based in America, but his main focus is building, obviously, clean energy, green energy, but he's talking about what gets in the way of rolling out these vast infrastructure projects. And he's been going through and unraveling the bureaucratic mess at the heart of America's infrastructure problems. And it's a mess. It's really bad. So as he's been carrying on recently, is that there is unprecedented amount of funding coming in from the federal government, but it's being met with actual regulations and green tape, basically, which is really hampering the introduction of a lot of this infrastructure that's desperately needed. And I think that translates across to Australia as well. We can't build a dam in this. You can't build a dam in Australia without, all this red tape, all this bureaucratic red and green tape everywhere. It's actual infrastructure that helps. Like a dam is fairly, that's a bipartisan thing. We all drink water. That's a fairly bipartisan thing. We can just build a dam. That's not too hard, but apparently it is. It's an issue we need to attack. Get rid of all these layers. There's too much in there. There's too much. We got bureaucrats looking after bureaucrats who are looking after bureaucrats. We don't need that. It's dumb. Okay, marquee lawyers. Wow, they're always up for the hot takes, aren't they? Oh my God, do these people ever work? Anyways, it is not bad luck that the Liberal Party candidates keep turning out to be cookers. Okay, so that just means anyone who questions COVID, anyone who questions COVID, the ring of steel. Oh, you're a cooker. It is a sign that the party is close to being fully cooked. Yeah, but see, they're not aware. This is the thing. They're so arrogant in their ignorance. They're not aware of anything that's happened in relation to FISA documents coming out or the Twitter files because they're not in they don't know what's happened. They don't have the additional information, so they're still based on these basic personal attacks. Cooker is basically it's a filling for I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't like you. That's why it works. Anyways, that's why they like it. Anyways, it doesn't work. It just signifies that you're an idiot. Next on the list, it's the same with denier. They do it. You're like, yeah, but I agree with the science. I just don't think windmills are going to do this. Denier. Anyways, fuck Tony Windsor. Speaking of old cunts, I see some of the pansies of the press are out today. Fine for them to editorialize their politics, but when a lone man editorializes about them, the nappies are filled. Yeah, but that's the press you like, Tony. That's the press that you enjoy. You enjoy that type of coverage. You don't want hard questions. You don't want tough debates. You just want to sit back and say, oh, everyone's evil who doesn't agree with me, and this is why. And then when some old dude steps up and does the same thing, of course you're going to jump on it. Journalists are weak. I cover it all the time. Every day I'm going through and showing you how shitty our journalists are. We had The Guardian just the other day running the whole, Dutton wants NDIS cuts. You saw that centipede in action. Come on. But you encourage that. You think that's cool. It's not. Sorry. We're going on. Andrew Bogut. 15-year-old girls playing the NBL. What's the age of consent? Yeah, exactly. Having a penis out in change rooms is okay. Yeah. Just girls sports for girls. It's not hard. Speaking of... growing up in the 90s. Yeah, can we just get back to that? Like, I think girls are girls, boys are boys. Is maybe have a separate sport for the disabled. Well, I think we already do. Okay. Cameron Murray, yeah. Cameron Murray is one of the best economic minds in Australia, and he's going to waste. He's going to waste. We got to protect him. He needs to be protected, and he needs to be distributed to a wider audience. Cameron Murray's a great man. Great ideas, good thinking. He can take on multiple elements at the same time, and argue and think about them in a rational way without personal attacks. Analyze the data and get it out there in a nice form that people can grasp. It's really good. Anyway, so what's he saying? One thing that puzzles me about this data, if there was a housing shortage pre-COVID, as many claim, how did occupancy fall? Where did everyone go? Doesn't this data imply that there were many empty homes pre-COVID? Yeah. If you want to see, he's doing some great work on the housing and rental crisis at the moment, and bring actual context to the issues and showing, is this really a problem? And that's a great service. Instead, what do we get? We get like journalists covering the Greens who are saying, "Oh, it's evil that people own investment properties," and they gotta let people rent. Oh, we need pricing control. And it's like, can we just look at the issues properly? Cameron does that, so give him a follow. Great guy. Mark Latham. Speaking of angry old Labor guys, yes. At page 115 of the ever informative Latham Diaries, Paul Keating explaining the purpose of his 1995 defence pact with Indonesia. What I wanted to do was put their 200 million people in the front line, their army, our weapons. This was our frontline defence of Australia if China ever went bad, as some people said it could. China has gone bad. I think we're about like the 1936 stage of the Second World War, after Japan had already invaded China and that was boiling away. Like, that was basically the start of the war. We just don't recognize it because we weren't involved yet. I think we're very close to that, but yeah, that's an old paper from Keating. That's what I was saying. That's the old defense posture, and that's not the world that we're living in now. The Anglosphere is really, really trying to hold things together, because basically it's the best system that works. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but if you look around the world, like that's the system that people like the most. Whether it be America, Canada, England, Australia, Singapore, that's the system that works. That's the system that works best, and we got to protect it. we just have to protect it. There's no one else. There's nowhere else to go. So yeah, it's changing dynamics. Ben Fordham, Ben Fordham I like, but I don't think this is going to really help. Peking Paul, that's a new nickname of our former Prime Minister. Yeah, I don't think that's just cheap. I don't think that's, I don't think Paul Keating's working for China. I don't think he's getting paid by China. I don't think that. He just has some older ideas. That's all. And he's a little bit out, and then he gets defensive because he's a little bit out of the circles, and he's probably got his own little echo chamber going on of media, and these are the people I like to read, and these are the people I don't like to read, and this information's good, and this information's bad. That's the problem. Like, these cheap Peking Paul, like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's there's plenty that criticize him on. Yeah, without getting personal. I know he gets personal, but don't jump in the gutter. I can jump in the gutter. You cannot. That's for me to do. Okay. Right. Built in the 50s, original and unrestored. Some parts still in working. It's still there. Okay, Roy. You're all good, mate. You're all good. You're all good, mate. You're all good, mate. Get it through. I like Roy. He's a great guy. A really nice man. Leo, what's he back? Yeah, do you tip waiters in restaurants? I don't tip. I was on holidays in Greece last year. I just remember this because I get photos that pick up. And we went to a cafe on the beach, and we sat down, and the lady came to the table and she said, "You ready?" And I said, No, we'll just wait a sec. We're just going to look over the menu. And then I just wanted a coffee. And I noticed that they only had an espresso machine to make coffee. And yeah, that's not going to work. So we got up and left, and the lady's like, "Oh, You didn't even have enough to say a thank you. I'm like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. So she was expecting a tip and a thank you, and I wouldn't even give her that. Like, I'm sorry, if you're serving coffee from an espresso machine, I'm not paying for that. Like, fuck it. I'll go drink whatever the shit they've got in the hotel room. I'm not. Yeah, sometimes I'll pay. If it's good service, yeah, I'll tip them. All the time. All the time. Around Europe, it's different. A lot of times they just see English speakers as being American, and they just used to Americans tipping. And Australians don't play those games, you fucks. You got to give us some service. Yeah, if it's good service, I'll tip. Steve Noble. Never actually any numbers behind these tweets. Yeah, that's true. The Greens don't work in reality. Queensland could be a renewable minerals powerhouse if you move from coal and gas to clean energy. It doesn't work like that. Queensland could use a lot of solar, but it doesn't work like that. You don't become a powerhouse. There's no such thing as a renewable energy powerhouse. It doesn't work. You know, society actually flourished when we moved away from renewable energy. Now we're desperately trying to go back to it. That's not a good. Queensland could do a lot of solar. Yeah, sure. But we just need to still recognize that 80% of the energy is still coming from coal. Yeah, anyways. What else do we have? Oh, here we go. ABC. A precious Aboriginal site allegedly trampled by feral horses after flood hay drops. Okay. Yeah, horses eat hay, but allegedly? Like, anyways, leave the horses alone. I know they're feral and that, but that's, you know, what isn't feral in Australia? What isn't? We're going to kick the ferals out of Bankstown? Jesus, that's not going to work. Okay, next. Global energy. Oh, shit, I clicked on the wrong thing. Don't click on these stories, people. I just did it by mistake. I apologize. I'm sorry. Sky News just got the extra click. They don't deserve it. Okay, I just pretend that didn't happen. Let's have a look. Okay, Sky News. Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek says the global energy market is under enormous pressure due to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. It's not. That's one aspect. That's probably 10%. It's also massive underinvestment. The demand aspect that these renewable freaks, they just don't understand that the demand is still there. All you're doing is making these huge profits for the fossil fuels companies are coming from your policies. Because the demand is still there and it's not being met, so the prices are going up. That's one big aspect. That's where the enormous pressure is coming from. You know, there's demand, and you haven't addressed the demand. All you've done is restrict supply. So, what's the plan for Australia? Besides Tanya Plibersek, can Tanya Plibersek point to the country of Africa on a map, please? Jesus. Anyways, yeah, no. We need more supply in the market. At the moment, the best salespeople the fossil fuel companies ever had are these anti-fossil fuel people. They're like the gun nuts going after the gun grabbers. You know, they just boost gun sales. That's all they do. You're doing the same thing, and then they complain about record profits. And it's like, well, you haven't fixed the demand side. Numpties. Maybe if they had, you know, they could have more. They could have a stronger debate about this, but they don't, because they just swing off in personal attacks, you know. And, you know, the media's got a lot to do. They got a lot of explaining to do. They're responsible for a lot of that. Okay, so I don't know how I'm going for time today. Let's look at it. Yeah, you know, this thread is quality from Steve. This is Michael, thank you. This thread is quality. And it is just the cringe that we see on Twitter. Like these, hi Adam, I can't understand the lockdowns, but I don't understand why there are cops all around our building. That's quite intimidating. Yeah, it's like, the funny letters that I like are the ones that, remember the refugee ones, and they'd draw like these are from the kids on Manus Island, and it would be like just crayons, and it was the worst shit ever. It was just so, yeah, it's just terrible cringe. It's probably the worst shit that I've seen on the site. It's funny. It's not real though, not based in reality. Anthony Dillon, yeah, once again, Indigenous issues. Some victim brigade members will have a meltdown over this. The teenager at the centre of the alleged Latrell Mitchell racial slur has been given a warning by New South Wales police. And no, I'm not condemning racism. Yeah, that's all right. He's given a warning. It's a teenager. You know, it's a teenager. They're all for this, you know, lifting the age of adult responsibility, or they're all for that until some kid like makes a racial slur. Like, I make racial slurs all the time about everyone. I don't keep it restricted, but there's no malice behind it. It's just for entertainment. And, you know, you can call me a stupid wog all you want. I think it's funny. You know, some people are a little bit sensitive. Anyways, those who cheer these people on are enablers. Yeah, what's this?
Timber called me sir, and I said, sir, actually, it's a ma'am. And then everyone around started clapping.
Oh, they all fucking clapped. Of course they did. Of course they did. Okay, here's another protest. Controversial. Oh, that's from March 6th, though. Sorry, Maggie, but that's... Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Greg Jericho. Oh, we just wouldn't... It wouldn't be a morning rant without Greg. Hi, Greg. Hi, how are you? Doing well? Okay, think about Keating. Shouldn't there be at least one ALP backbencher out there saying much the same thing? Yeah, there should be, but they don't think. ALP backbenchers are no longer hired for their ability. That's what I mean. Identity politics took over. You have quotas in there now. Now you have quota fillers and, you know, little hacks. You know, you just have the little political hacks in there who are only there to boost the numbers of their specific union base, and that's it. There's no actually deep thought in that. Have you seen half these people? Do you think Murray Watts is a fucking deep thinker? Really? Okay. Yeah, no. There's no one in Labor who can think. There's no thought leader. The thought leader in Labor is like some weird little fringe dwelling activist, you know, and there's no central ethos there whatsoever. Ditto on climate. Why is there no one who's seeming willing to able to push the party to the left? Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. It's just the actual... They've been infected by side issues, fringe issues, and identity politics. That's all. Labor's gone. You know, they gave up the big debates just to attack people personally and push grievance. That's all. Don't be surprised, Greg, but I know poor Greg, you know, he's trying his best. He's trying, you know, give it to him. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up soon, guys. So let's have a look. Let's see what we're up to. Tim Dunlop. We are meant to believe that the mainstream media is a vast and powerful institution full of terriers in pursuit of malfeasance, speaking truth to power, and holding our leaders to account. And here they are having an absolute vaporous BC at an XPM took them to task. Yeah, because an XPM took them to task. They're weak. You know, journalists, especially the press pack, like the Canberra, what do they offer? What do they actually offer? What is Catherine Murphy from The Guardian? Lenore Taylor, what the fuck do they offer? You know, we just saw them earlier this week. I was going on about the human centipede and how they pushed the story about Dutton wanting to cut the NDIS when it wasn't. And then they all ran it and they all pushed. That's not journalism. That's what they think it is. It's this BuzzFeedification, and you know, it's gross. It's sad. It's not. This is not journalism. Is actually trending, and I bet you it's in there, and they're all just attacking News Corp because, you know, how dare News Corp actually ask questions. That poor girl from Sky News, she actually had a good point. And no one backs her up. They're saying, oh, yeah, it's typical of News Corp to ask these stupid questions. They just jump on Keating instead of actually saying, well, have you had any briefings from the security services? And his response is, I don't trust the security services. So he doesn't know. He's just basing his opinion off like what he read last, which is probably some shit anyways from the same people. He just disagrees with them when they write something he doesn't like. That's all. Anyways, let's go on. Dave Danner, I like this guy. He's on a weight loss journey. It's a very cool weight loss journey, and he's getting there. So I'm showing me how to make the family meatloaf recipe. Yeah, meatloaf's an interesting one. I haven't really got into that. Yeah, but as long as it's meat and stuff like that, that's good for you. 5 times jabbed, Megan. What else is here? Transgender rights supporters have flocked to Parliament House to protest against controversial UK activist Kelly J. Keane. Yeah, they're protesting feminists. You know, the trans lobby have come in and they're infecting the feminist movement. That's all. Just leave them alone. Leave the feminists alone. Like, they're my people to annoy. They're my, you know, victims. I can attack these people. Leave them alone. It's up to me, a straight white Catholic male, That's my job to attack the feminists, not yours. Leave them alone. Anyways, where else are we going? Dr. Brendan Murphy. Yeah, there we go. Instead of buying nuclear submarines, Australia should just lend Lydia Thorpe and Jackie Lambie to China. Yep. Yeah, we can do enough damage ourselves. Wow. Okay, send this to Alex Greenwich, or however you say his Greenwich or Greenwich. Send this to him. This he should be confronted every time he steps up to a microphone to give a press conference. Someone should be standing behind him with this picture. This is what he supports in his anti-gender trends, or his anti-conversion therapy. In that, it's a dodgy piece of legislation, but they're classing conversion therapy as people who do not want to confirm the mental illness of someone else. So if someone else has a mental illness and you don't respect that and support it 100%, then you are you're trying to convert them to your way of thinking, and that's dangerous. This is what it leads to. Put it in his face every time. Billboards. If he thinks it's fine, put it on a big billboard with his face on it. This is what I support. This is dangerous. Like that's a really bad thing. You think asbestos is bad. What's this doing to teenage girls? It's awful. Nick McKim, here we go. The brains trusted the Greens. Wages are going backwards, and Jim Chalmers thinks it's because you're not working hard enough. No, it's because we keep importing 400,000 people a year. Just stop it. No one voted for this. If you ask the general public, they'd say, yeah, probably 100,000 a year. Not 400,000. How did we get from 100,000, a reasonable number, to 400,000? It's like the population of Canberra in 1 year. And the regulations are stopping us putting in infrastructure to cater for these people. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there. This is pretty depressing, but outside is a beautiful day today, so I want to get in it. I want to get out there. You guys should too. Get out for a run, go for a walk. The fresh air is good for you. You got to burn off this stupidity. It helps you laugh at it. Anyways, I'll leave it there. So it's been great seeing you all today. I'm going to upload this soon. Send me any advice you have. Also share this if you can. If I can get to 1,000 subscribers, I think YouTube will let me do this live, which will be incredible. That will be fun because then I can interact with you guys live. That would be really fun. Anyways, have a great day. Take it easy and peace out.